Hey guys, just a quick video on Factorise again. So always look for a common factor first, no matter what. That should always be the first thing you check for. Okay, so if I look here, I can see that both of these terms have an x common. So you take x out common, so therefore you are left with 5x plus 1. Okay, so be careful here. You can see you have two terms, so therefore you need to have two terms in your bracket here. Maybe another way to do it, which I actually usually like to do it, is take out your x common and then write down your bracket and place your sign, because that way you won't forget any of your terms. So then I can see that there's a 5x and a x times 1 will just be your x. So when your common factor is the same as your term, you'll just have a 1. It is break at the moment, so hence all the shouting and screaming. Okay, next here is I can see I have an x common, so let's use that method again. So put down your bracket first, place your sign. You can see there you have left a y and an r. Okay, we'll keep going. So important to check for that common factor first. Okay, so if we look here, we can see that both these numbers are divisible by 4, and they also have a minimum of x squared common. Place your bracket, put your sign. Okay, be intentional about doing your maths. Have a plan. Okay, then you're in charge of the paper, the paper not in charge of you. 16 divided by 4 gives me 4. I don't need another x squared because I already got x squared. 20 divided by 4 gives me 5, and I've got x squared, so therefore I'll need another x squared to make up the x to the power of 4. Okay, we'll keep going with these ones. They both can be divided by 3. X cubed, x squared. So the minimum they each have is x squared. Y4, y7. So the minimum they each have are 4 y's. Then put your bracket down, place your sign. Don't squash your things up. It's easier to see. 12 divided by 3 gives you 4. X cubed, x squared. So therefore we will need one more x. Y4, y4. They are the same. I don't need any more. Next term, 15 divided by 3 is 5. X squared and x squared. They are the same. Y7, y4. I need another 3 to make up my y7. When we look at the next question, we see here that, first of all, is there a common factor? No, there is nothing common. You can see that neither of them can have a number that can be divided by or a variable. So that would mean that we have to look to see if it is a difference of squares or if it is a trinomial. I can see the difference of squares because this is a perfect square, x times x, and 4 times 4 gives me 16. And it's the difference between them, hence the minus. So you place your two brackets, x and x, and it's going to be plus 4 and minus 4. Looking at the next one, again, check to see, is there a common factor? No, there's no number that can divide. There isn't a number here. We can't divide by anything. The last term doesn't have an x, so there's no common factor. It's not a difference of squares, but we can recognize the trinomial. So you're going to have two brackets, place your x and x. Find the factors of 24 that when you add them gives you 10, and that's going to be 6 times 4. 6 times 4 is 24, and 6 plus 4 makes 10. Place your signs at the end. It makes it much easier, especially if there's a minus somewhere. So this is going to be plus 6 plus 4, which will make plus 10. The last question for this video is, again, as I said, is there a common factor? Is there a common factor? In this case, the answer is yes. So let's first remove that common factor. All of these numbers are divisible by 3. So 3 is your common factor. place your bracket, put your signs. 3 divided by 3, well, that's just 1, and I've just got x squared here. 21 divided by 3 gives me 7, so that's 7x. 30 divided by 3 gives me 10. When you finish taking out a common factor, just take a moment to see, is there another, can it be factorized again? Because you have to fully factorize, and you can notice here that what's left in your bracket is a trinomial. So we need to factorize again. Just leave the 3 there. You can just cover it up if you need to, forget about it, but it needs to be there. And now you factorize this. It's a trinomial, so we have 2 brackets, x times x, and we need the factors of 10, which when we add them gives us 7, and that'll be 5 and 2. So place your 5, place your 2, then decide on your signs. It has to be a plus 7, so therefore it's going to be plus 5 plus 2, which makes plus 7. Then just one last little thing that I forgot about when doing your expanding is just be careful that when you have to, let's say this question says expand and simplify, and you have, for example, let's just say x minus 2 and it's squared. That means that that bracket is repeated twice. So please, you do need to write that bracket twice. That's your first step. Then remember, we said we can use a little block method, the multiplication grid, to do our expanding. And you can have x minus 2 there and x minus 2 there. So when we multiply them into the grid, x times x gives me x squared minus 2x minus 2x. Please be aware of the signs. Minus and a minus makes a plus. 2 times 2 is 4. That means you have got left x squared minus 2x minus 2x plus 4. So that leaves you with x squared minus 4x plus 4. So that square looks a bit weird up there. We'll just fix that. Then just a little tip of the day is, I know it sounds crazy, but actually when you do these questions, it's sometimes useful if you can hear yourself speak. And when you practice them at home, just tell your family you haven't gone nuts. But actually it's very, very helpful if you speak out loud while you do it. In the exam, obviously you can't, so but speak to yourself in your brain, like talk to yourself in your head when you do the questions. I can guarantee you it's going to help you a lot. Thanks, guys.